Listen, something massive is happening right now in crypto, and if you miss it, you're going to regret it. BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, they revealed moves that could set XRP up for a 10x run. I'm not talking hopium, folks. I'm talking signal straight from Wall Street's playbook. Here's the deal. BlackRock just compared stablecoins to a global checking account, and they hinted that tokenized securities will be the savings account of the future. And if you connect the dots, the bridge currency between those two worlds, well, it looks a lot like XRP. In this video, I'm breaking it all down. BlackRock's blueprint, Brad Garlinghouse's bold prediction, Wall Street's secret timing map, and why institutions, why they can send XRP into a 3 to 4 to even 5-digit territory. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see exactly why this setup is screaming 10x potential. Let's dive in. We start with the Ripple Swell speakers. I want to scroll down. You see this guy right here? Matthew Stein? Yeah, let's highlight him. Well, let's go into him. Why not? Matthew Stein from BlackRock. He's going to be at Swell. Well, look at this clip that I was able to dig up here. I want you to listen to this. Just a minute on it, okay? Because BlackRock is basically laying out, and he says it. This is the same guy going to be at Swell. He's saying it out loud, what we've been screaming for years. Stablecoins are the backbone of the new financial system. Think about this. You send money instantly across borders with no fees, no delays. That's not just a nice upgrade. That's the future of payments. Listen up.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people resonate with the concept of the internet capital markets. And with stablecoins, you do unlock this ability to transfer value globally in near real time at almost zero cost. But the primary use case for a lot of stablecoins today, or the assets you can interact with, tend to be crypto native assets. And so to really unlock kind of that next phase, you sort of need an emergence of real tokenized securities to unlock the future of capital markets. And we had some experimentation in tokenizing money market funds in permissioned blockchain context, where we really started to realize the value of, well, if an investor can stay in a money market fund in a time of volatility, and rather than having to exit the money market fund, they can just post that money market fund to top up variation margin, you unlock some real efficiencies and you reduce the volatility of the underlying money market funds because investors aren't necessarily.
Let's stop it there. Think about this. You send money instantly across borders, no fees, no delays, right? Amazing. And the way that BlackRock just framed this, they compared stablecoins to a checking account for the world. Always on, always liquid, and always available 24/7. Now here's where XRP enters the chat. Ripple already built this system with ODL, on-demand liquidity, right? Moving money instantly through payment corridors like Mexico, the Philippines, Thailand, Japan, and beyond. Imagine adding stablecoin rails on top of that. Suddenly, you're looking at a global money superhighway, and every single transaction, XRP is the toll booth. That's not speculation, everyone. That's infrastructure that is already live. And BlackRock, they just validated the playbook. Ripple has been running for years. And then we get this. Who remembers this clip? This is Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's boss. If that wasn't enough, Brad himself drops a bomb. A bomb. He straight up said that the XRP ledger could handle 14% of Swift's global transactions. Let that sink in. 14%. Swift moves trillions a day. 14% of that volume routed through the XRP ledger and XRP? That's not just big. That's massive, everyone. That is unheard of. That is where we are going. And here's the kicker. Analysts running the numbers, they estimate that scenario could drive XRP to $100+ like that in the blink of an eye. I know, sounds wild. I get it. But when you line it up with BlackRock's stablecoin thesis, it actually looks very conservative. Because think about it. Ripple already has the tech, the rails, and the corridors. And BlackRock is saying, this is the future. Then the dots are connecting faster than most people realize. This isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. Then we get this, the Wall Street cheat sheet. No words are needed here. Just look at the chart. Look at where we are. October through December is where markets flip bullish. And history doesn't lie. If you've seen this pattern before, you already know what's coming. You're prepared for this. You're counting down the days until October gets here. Combine that seasonal momentum with BlackRock and Ripple's alignment, this could get explosive, and it could get explosive rather quickly. And now we jump back over to the clip. I want to jump to that 10-minute mark here, and I want to talk about tokenized securities, the savings account of the future. We're going to level it all up right now. BlackRock, they just didn't stop at stablecoins. They dropped another bomb. They talked about tokenized securities. We're talking stocks, bonds, real estates, all moving on chain, folks. And the way they explained it, stablecoins are your checking account, but tokenized securities are your savings account. Listen to this clip.
Yeah, I kind of see the stablecoin as the checking account and the tokenized security as sort of the savings account where you can capture yield. But with tokenized securities, at least the way we're approaching it, it's not as permissionless, even though it's on a public permissionless blockchain. It's not as permissionless as a stablecoin. Stablecoins obviously can be sent to any address that can accept the token, whereas a tokenized security, you often are encumbered by a whitelist. So pre-onboarded KYC, AML checked investors. And that universe is, by the very nature of the whitelist, is always going to be smaller than the full permissionless network. Right? And so having that kind of interplay where when you need readily available dollars to move around to anyone, you need that stablecoin. And if you're kind of sitting on the asset and you're okay with a little bit of delay between going from that asset to an asset where you can send it to anyone, then...
This is the same gentleman that's going to be at Swell in 2 months. Here's the catch now, right? Stablecoins are open. Anyone can use them. But tokenized securities, those will be KYC gated, regulated, and institution only, which means trillions in institutional money will be locked inside these tokenized assets. Now ask yourself this question. How does that money move cross borders? How do you bridge regulated securities and permissionless stablecoins? There has to be a neutral settlement layer. And the most battle-tested option, well, I'm sorry to say, but it's XRP. So when BlackRock says that this is the next phase of the markets, they're basically telling us the role of Ripple and XRP are about to play in connecting the old world and the new one. Then we get this clip. Good old Tom Lee. Let's pause it. Let's crank up the sound. Let's rewind it. Tom Lee talking Bitcoin here. Let's listen to what he got to say, because he states that Bitcoin could easily hit over 200,000 before the year end. And if you think XRP is the only coin in play here we go.
Hey, Tom, Bitcoin, before we let you go, tell us what you think. We're at about $111,000. The upside, the downside from here?
Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies like Ethereum are super sensitive to monetary policy. So I think that September 17th is an important catalyst. Crypto typically does really well in the fourth quarter. So I think Bitcoin can easily get to 200,000 before year end. I know it's a big move. It's almost a double. But that's also
almost
going to be
a double from here. Let's just hold on. Let's just take a quick pause. A double from here. So everybody's listening to this. We're at $111,000, and you think we by Christmas time, effectively, we could be at 200,000?
That's right. One of the reasons Bitcoin stalled this year is the Fed's been on pause for 9 months. That pause all year, if you look at an easing cycle, that's only happened 2 other times in 1998 and 2024, where the Fed began to resume cuts in the fourth quarter in September. Equities do really well. As you know, crypto is beta to equity. So I think it's going to be a very strong fourth quarter. Small caps should also rally, like IWM, but that also is really bullish for Ethereum, which is highly linked to small caps.
So we have a Wall Street veteran who's planting the flag here. Here's why it matters, though. Because when Bitcoin rips, guess what? It drags the entire cryptocurrency market with it. And the biggest beneficiaries of all of it, the projects that have real world adoption and enterprise level partnership. That puts XRP in a prime position to outperform once capital starts rotating. Then we get this, Charles Hoskins. God, you gotta love the man, right? He couldn't resist jumping in here. He said that Cardano is gonna flip both XRP and Bitcoin. Bold claim now, isn't it? And honestly, competition's good. I say bring it on. I welcome it. But here's my take. Every time another founder talks about flipping XRP, it just proves one thing. XRP is in the conversation at the very top. They're afraid of it. They're scared of it. You don't challenge coins that don't matter. And while ADA is still building, guess what? Ripple already has enterprise adoption. Regulatory clarity is here. And now validation from BlackRock's narrative. So hey, bring on the competition. I welcome it. So do the rest of the XRP holders. Then we get this Larry Fink from Bitcoin. Remember this? Let's finish with the most shocking quote of them all. BlackRock's own Larry Fink. Remember when he said Bitcoin could hit over $700,000 if certain conditions play out? That's right. This is directly from MarketWatch and directly quoted from Larry Fink himself. Now think about what that means. If Bitcoin, the reserve asset of crypto, pushes that high, every other major coin with utility gets dragged along for the ride. XRP at $100 would even look that crazy at that point, right? Bitcoin sitting at 700K, a 100 or even a $1,000 XRP with Bitcoin at 700,000 wouldn't look that crazy. It's almost invertible, right? This is why you can't afford to sleep on what BlackRock is signaling. They're laying out the blueprint for the next financial system. And XRP, it's sitting right in the middle of it. So let's recap here. BlackRock just called stablecoins the world's checking account and tokenized securities the world's savings account. Ripple already built the infrastructure to bridge those two worlds with XRP. Brad Garlinghouse says XRP could handle up to 14% of Swift's traffic. And then top analysts are projecting a triple-digit XRP, all while Wall Street itself is hinting at the most bullish setup that we have seen in years. This isn't noise. This is the financial system shifting in real time. And if you're watching this, you're ahead of 99% of the market. So now I want to hear from you. You tell me, where do you see XRP by the end of this year? Drop me your price targets in the comments. And if you found this video valuable, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share. Share this video with the one person who needs to see what's coming, because the next few months, well, they could define the next decade in crypto, and you don't want to miss it.